You mentioned financing. Is there owner financing in this
Mhm.
scenario? Is there financing in this space?
There absolutely is. If there is, I mean, everybody wants to go the traditional SBA route, which takes a long time, and certain business models simply won't apply, especially because they're a little hesitant to the online world. They're not extremely smart in that. That's been my experience. No offense, SBA. But at the end of the day, the traditional business for them is a little bit more comfortable, and they'll typically fast track SBA based businesses in the more, I'm going to call it the real world, which what's the real world? In the traditional business spaces of you buying like a pharmacy or buying a local business shop or something. When it comes to the online world, it's a little bit different for them, and they don't usually fast track those kinds or make it easier. So there's other capital opportunities to go out. There's a lot of capital. I know it doesn't always feel like that for everybody, but there's quite a bit of groups, home offices, hedge funds, other investment groups that are flush with capital that don't want to put it into markets. And right now they're holding back maybe on real estate, but they want to put that to work. So there is a lot of capital. We help people kind of find some of those capital options within our group, so they have opportunities to build or grow or acquire certain businesses, but they'll need to be capitalized, no doubt about it. And owner financing is just as a mechanism of the seller tool that you can get potentially owners to agree. In this instance, let's say a 1.2 or 1 million cash up, the 1.2 million for your cash, we're going to pay it out over 3 years. You're going to stay as an operator for year 1 or 2 or whatever we negotiate and agree on, and we're going to pay you monthly on an agreeable amount that pays out the additional monies over 2 or 3 years, and the owner basically finances that and gets paid out monthly after they get their initial cash buy-in, right? So a lot of times some of the operators like that because they want to see the business grow. They've been doing it for a long time. They're emotionally connected to it. They really want to see that upside potential, and they just couldn't get to it money-wise, finance, emotional-wise. They were stuck and couldn't reach it. And someone coming in with fresh eyes and more money and stuff can help unlock some of the next tiers of opportunity. A lot of times operators are just like, hey, give me the cash. I'm out. I'm done. I've been doing this for years. I got other things to focus on. I'm bored. I want to spend time with my family. I got other businesses I want to put that money into. And so they're just like, get me out of here in 30 days, right? I'm out. And so it's just a variable of those differences. But there's opportunities to create creative financing on any business deal, which is kind of fun.
Now we are starting to stream our podcast live on YouTube and Facebook, so people can feel free to ask questions.
Awesome.
We do have one question from Josh, and he said, "What's the pros and cons of buying the business versus building a business?"
So just to hammer that back a little bit to a point I made earlier, the difference between buying and building is going to be knowledge. At the end of the day, I might buy a cash flow positive, profitable business and not have the knowledge to maintain it or grow it. Whereas I might build a company, gain the knowledge and intrinsic value, understand and have success in that, and then be capable of doing both. So the difference is really going to be down to you as a choice. What I choose to do is I've chosen to learn the model, become very good at it, and then have gone out and purchased other companies, acquired, merged, and helped my clients do the same. From that experience. So Josh, it's not really one or the other. Just understand there's pros and cons and strengths and weaknesses. If you know a trusted operator, someone you know who is very good at that space of operations, and you would rather deploy your capital and kind of learn by proxy, knowing you can trust the operator to run it, then buying a business might be a faster way to profit. As long as the deal is correct and your operator and you have a reasonable understanding and expectations, if you've done deals before or you're very in a trusting position with that, that could be a really great win for you, right? It could also be a really dangerous use of your money if you are not understanding how the business is ran. Like, I wouldn't just go out and buy an electrician company. I bet I could drive that into the ground. Am I a dumb business guy? No. Do I understand the fundamentals of business? Absolutely. But by the time I gained that knowledge, I may have not necessarily helped the business like I thought I was going to.
Now, I've got a question for you, Neil. Is you're seeing these opportunities, right? Where would somebody go to see these opportunities? A broker? You guys get plugged into your network? How would somebody?
Yeah, all of the above, right? The brokers have it. The thing with the brokers though is, and I know some really good ones, and I know some really kind of questionable ones. The end result is a lot of times they have certain contracts, what's called a letter of intent, with the buyer who comes into the network, a certain time in which they agree to sell the business, and that's part of the contract. The buyer has the opportunity to give to the seller at the time they agree to make it. And in essence, the brokers are acting like a temporary buyer. and then giving people access to their network. Now, behind them is supposedly a lot of people who are interested in buying these companies. Well, sometimes in that LOI, it doesn't always happen in that time frame, and the LOI can last up to 90 days, and you're going to be locked into that while they determine who's going to buy that company. So just be aware of that. If you're someone who wants to buy a company and goes to a broker, their end result is they get paid a fee, and so they're going to be, incentivized to find you somebody who's, going to buy that business and do it at a rational thing. However, sometimes brokers structure deals that are not really in favor of the seller. They may lock you in a little bit too low. They may force you to take a little bit lower money and get locked into a longer term contract if you don't want that. So just be very careful if you approach them as someone wanting to buy a company, that you're very clear on the terms, how they structure their LOI with the seller, and what are the expectations of time and delivery of that business. If you have never done that before, it can be a little gotcha if you're not careful. There are plenty of those kinds of places out there. If you guys want to get connected to them, or you want to learn what we're doing, you can go check it out at voltageb2b.com. Get through there, understand what we're doing, connect with me, and either my group or my connections into brokerages can show you the trusted ones you should actually work with, where there are a lot of these businesses in the pipeline right now that can kind of show you what's available.
Now, so Neil, give us an overview. It sounds like your company kind of does a lot in this space on different levels. You want to give us a little overview of how you guys help people?
Well, in its simplest terms, right? We launch, we grow, we scale, we either exit or acquire these companies. So if someone wants to learn how to do this, we teach them how to go out in 24 months, build a company, and then show them and help them exit that. Okay. We do it on what's called the first rights of refusal, meaning there's not a contractual obligation for them to sell their company or sell it through us. We do it on a gentleman's agreement that says if you work with us to help you launch and grow and build this company in 24 months, that you come to us first with the business opportunity to broker that relationship. And most likely you'll want to do that because we've been working together on a new startup. So we'll help people with the startup of the business. I set very realistic expectations of growth about how we can run these businesses and how fast we run in our results. So I usually don't want people to understand they're going to show up and think they do this on their time, because I know what can be done on our time. And so I want to make sure they come to run, right? Which means they come capitalized. They understand 50 to 100K in deployable capital in year one is a minimum for success in this marketplace. That they understand that results usually take 6 to 12 months to really see it ramp and grow. And then multiple channel opportunities will be available to do that. And that there's a path and a plan to repeat that process like we've done hundreds of times. They can come in and potentially acquire businesses. If it's already doing more than 50 to 100K a month and the business is available to be acquired, our account management team can step in if it's an Amazon only business channel and take over full management of that. As long as profits are above 15% net profit, above 50 to 100K in monthly revenues, we can put in a team that fully manages that and truly makes it almost automated income, as we will teach you and run the company at the same time and then help you exit it to the next level. So there are a couple different ways that we can approach people in this marketplace. I don't typically partner with people, definitely on a first time. I don't ask for ownership or equity in the company as a part of that process. I want to teach CEO operators to become independent. Okay. We coach and we mentor them to a place where we turn into advisors. I don't want them dependent on me. I want them to become excellent at what they do. That creates a longer term relationship, bigger pipeline. And as you guys understand wealth management like I do, it isn't the deals and the assets I control, it's the paper I control. And in this way, as I control the opportunities we go through, I create an upside potential for both of us. It's a win-win. I'm fully transparent that the money and the opportunities I'm presenting is the exit and acquiring of these businesses. It is not the coaching and mentoring. That's just a qualification level to ensure I'm working with the right people who have and understand this. And then we'll go deep, sometimes into years. Sometimes we'll do deals together. We'll co-broker, or they'll bring deals in, or we help them exit companies or provide companies they can buy. It becomes a longer term relationship in that way. And I just want to be very transparent with anybody listening. That's what's in it for me, right? So I only take a few people into the coaching because the rest of the business model and the actual business and the brands we are launching and the things we're doing are where my real money is made. But I take a few people along for the ride. So we do it at different stages of the ride.
Sounds cool.
Well said. Yeah. Where can, if somebody wants more information, where can they reach you at?
Yeah, as mentioned, go to voltageb2b.com, voltageb2b.com. Check out the presentation I did there. One of my partners in the portfolios division is Kevin Harrington, the Shark Tank guy, as seen on TV. Very good at this, been about $5 billion in sales. Pretty good guy. And understands this model. We do a little quick presentation. It's not really quick. It's about 45 minutes. But we cover the basics of what's going on. And if you watch the whole thing, you'll understand much more in detail. about that. And then you just reach out to me and say, hey, I'm interested, right? It's pretty nonchalant. I don't have a marketing team and it's not a sales pitch. It's an invite. If you qualify and I think you're a great fit and you agree and understand with what we're doing, then we might do some business together. You can also Google me. You can DuckDuckGo me or whatever favorite search engine. I have a little tiny name in case you haven't noticed. And I don't hide across the internet. I'm not trying to. You can go out and have your fun, decide if you like what I have to say, watch some podcasts, check out my Facebook feed. I warn you, my Facebook feed is where I have a lot of personal fun, poking at all kinds of world events. But you might find that resonates with your mind and maybe not, I don't know, but I'm pretty easy to find online. So you can go check that out.
Awesome, Neil. Thanks, man. Really appreciate it.
Thanks again, Neil, and go make it a fantastic day.
Take care.